Hey friends, this is the audio check. Welcome to part 2. We are looking at some more questions on the latest ones, GCP Associate Cloud Engineer. If you have not yet subscribed, do so. There are 1,000+ videos on AWS, Azure, and GCP certifications. So please take this time to prepare for the certification. Let us jump into the questions. So you need to update a deployment in a deployment manager without any resource downtime. So it's like you have a plane, that plane is flying in air, and you have to fill the gasoline or the aviation gas. You have to do it on the fly because there is no downtime. Mithought any downtime means the plane will not land anywhere for refueling. You have to do it mid-air. So we have to create commands and to update commands. Which one would work? So let us streamline the requirements first. Deployment manager update. We need to modify an existing deployment, which is managed by deployment manager. You got it? It's an existing. That means the plane is, there is not a new plane that is taking off. The plane is already midair, existing. Second thing here, no resource downtime. So you should not interrupt running resources or cause any service disruption. Okay, option A. This guy is saying we will use a create command, create config. So this command is used for creating new deployments. If the plane has to take off, the takeoff command is for takeoff. Similarly here, create command is a takeoff command. It is still on the ground. This does not fulfill the requirement of updating an existing deployment. We don't have to get another plane and ask it to take off. Our plane is already midair. We have to refuel it. So this option is incorrect. Option B. This guy is saying I will update. Update is correct. You got to update. So it will update what existing deployment using a new configuration file. Okay. And it performs updates which minimizes downtime. How? It will create new resource before deleting old one. So that it's not like first you take out the resource, delete it, and the programs using this resource, they say, hey buddy, where have you gone? And they have stopped their work. And then you add, no, it is saying, see, it is just like you are working for Infosys. One guy is resigned, has resigned. So before the last working day, the new uh, guy has already joined. So that when the last working day for the old guy happens, the next day, it is not a surprise, who will do the work. It will not be that way. The new guy is already there. KT has happened, the transition has happened. So that is why this is a correct way to deploy if you don't want downtime. So our answer in this case is this one, option B, where we would update. Now you might ask, buddy, option D also says update. See, create, we know it creates new resource. So option C is ruled out. That is great. But what about option D? It is also using update. So why option D is wrong? What is the difference between B and D? B says deployment, D says resource update. Option B is telling we will do deployment update. So if you are doing resource update, this is not a valid cloud command. This is not a valid command. It does not relate to deployments. So this is our final answer. You can read this description like we explained, and this will help you. Okay, so this is our final answer. See, in part one, there was one last question which I didn't explain. I can explain it at the end of this video. See, this is the next question. You need an important query in BigQuery. You need to run it. Where are you running? You have this big query. GCP BigQuery is a database. BigQ. You have created your query. You want to run on BigQuery. Uh, will the query return lots of records? Yes. The SQL query will return lots of records. Okay. So you want to find out how much it will cost to run the query. Okay. Because see, on cloud platform, every query will attract a cost. It is OPEX. So over the if you are mindlessly executing queries, the cost may go very high. So you are using on-demand pricing. That means you have not reserved anything. Whatever you use, it's like Uber, you have not reserved. Whenever you want, you use and pay. That is why the cost may be slightly higher. So in this case, what should you do? So what should you do for what? For getting the cost of the query. For getting the cost of the query, what should you do? So in a nutshell, what you are looking for? I want big query cost estimation. Okay. And I am already making use of on-demand pricing. I know my query will return large number of records. So I know for large number of records, I might get very high processing cost. The option A, it is telling arrange to switch to flat rate pricing for this query. Okay. So, changing the pricing, it is not so flexible that whenever you have big queries, you say, hey guys, let's switch it now. It does not work that way. It is as complex as upgrading your car. Suppose from Hertz, you have taken a rental car, you have taken a sedan. Now you want to move to a luxury car on and off based on your mood. Like you're going for a dinner and immediately you say, hey, I want a luxury car. It does not happen. It will take time. It will have additional cost. So switching to flat rate. See, flat rate, you have to give a commitment for 1 year, 3 years, like that you have to commit. So you don't have that flexibility to switch it on and off like a electric switch. So that is why this is incorrect, very efficient. Sorry, very inefficient, not efficient, inefficient. Now option B is correct. Why? See, here they are using a command line to dry run the query. So dry run means it will not actually execute. It is just it will simulate like it is executing. Okay. So once you dry run, what will you do? You will read the number of bytes. Then take this number of bytes, convert that into dollar value using price calculator. GCP gives you price calculator. This price calculator you should use. This price calculator you should use. Put the number of bytes read, and it will give you the cost. This is a way to do it. So dry run means BigQuery does not execute the query, but only analyzes it. And on-demand pricing is based on amount of data read by the query. Google Cloud Pricing Calculator is the calculator you should use for estimating this. So our answer is option B. Now, if you see option C, that also says I will dry run, I will use pricing calculator. So why it is wrong? What is the difference between the two? Difference is B is saying I will count the number of bytes read. C is saying I will base my estimate on the number of bytes returned. So your on-demand pricing, the problem is the logic behind on-demand pricing is it is only based on number of bytes read, not returned. That is the way Google has defined on-demand pricing. That is why C is wrong. Now D says let's do a count star to get the idea of how many number of records you will be hitting. See, if you do count star, it will take a lot of time because it's actually running the query. And if you take the number of rows and try to convert using price calculator, that will not work because the number of rows processed is not directly proportional to the cost in BigQuery on-demand pricing. On-demand pricing is based on bytes read, not number of records processed. So the most accurate way is for calculating the cost is use a pricing calculator and use number of bytes read, 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 not returned, not written, read, only read. Okay, so you have a single binary application that you want to run on Google Cloud Platform, and you have decided to automatically scale the application. When will you scale up? When your CPU is running out. Your CPU is running out. Say it crossed the threshold value of 80%. This is how we do in our real life work in projects. Then you scale up. So you have to use virtual machines directly. So you create VMs directly. So you need to ensure scaling is efficient and completed as quick as possible. So when the scale up is happening, suppose you had two VMs and now it is adding three more VMs. So it should not take an eternity. For example, if it takes 30 minutes to scale up, your end users, they will have to wait. Imagine Amazon.com and you go for shopping and now you have to wait because in the background scale up is happening because of high demand and you get a message, guys, please wait for 20 more minutes, we are almost done. Will you like it? No, you will immediately move to Flipkart or Myntra or some other competitor applications. So here they are telling what, like, let us analyze the need here. So it is a single binary application. You want to set up automatic scaling. You want to use virtual machines directly. You need operational efficiency and speed. A says, guys, I'll not worry too much. I will straight away use GKE, that is my Kubernetes engine cluster, and use horizontal pod scaling. Horizontal means it will scale this way. Vertical means it will scale this way. So you don't need this one. So this option, it violates the requirement of virtual machines directly because you are using this cluster and pods instead of virtual machines. B is correct because what you're doing is you're creating an instance template and use the template in a managed group, instance group with auto scaling configured. So that means first you use the template, you create a template, define it, and put your configuration for the VMs there. Then you allow to manage a group of identical VMs. Then you auto scale. That means it will scale based on CPU usage and fulfillment requirement. So option B is our final answer. But let us look at C and D as well. C says let's use instance template, which is good, and template manage group that scales up and down based on time of the day. See, we are not looking for scheduling times. The question never told us that at night you need more CPU. No, it didn't tell us. So why will you use schedule times? So this option is incorrect. D says let's use third party tools. See, whenever you are appearing for any certification, whether it is AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, etc., they want you to know more about their products. Google wants you to know about Google Cloud. They don't want you to know third party tools, first of all. So immediately you can see this and say wrong. Second is here you if you manage and maintain third party tools in custom, you have to spend so much of additional effort in doing it. See, first you went to Google Cloud and you are managing, learning how to manage Google Cloud components. On top of it, now Google Cloud says, hey guys, let's use third party also. So that is not logical. So Google would never do that. So this is our final answer, option B. So this was the last question of part one. In part one, we gave the answer, but we did not explain. So we are explaining it here. You have a development team that is using new Jenkins server. You want to deploy using fewest steps possible. So let's analyze the question first. This question is linked with Jenkins server deployment, where you deploy Jenkins server for development team. You want to do in fewest possible steps. You choose the option that requires least amount of manual configuration and setup. That is the clue. Least amount of manual configuration and setup is the clue. Option A, this is not most efficient. It is telling I will download and deploy Jenkins Java var to App Engine standard. So App Engine standard can run Java applications. That is no problem with that. But deploying full Jenkins as a war file, it is not a good approach. App Engine standard has limitations also. So if you want to make Jenkins fully functional on this, it will have a lot of limitations. So this option is not an efficient one for us. So if you create option B is saying, let us create a new compute engine instance and install Jenkins. So this option is not having fewest steps. That is the problem. So this is a traditional way. Create a VM, install Jenkins. You have your laptop, buy a new laptop, install Jenkins. So this is not good. This is just a traditional way, but not reducing the number of steps. C is telling, okay, let's use Kubernetes cluster and create a deployment with Jenkins Docker image. So Kubernetes is powerful, we all know, for container orchestration, for setting up cluster, those things. Okay, but it involves lot more steps than necessary. So basically, you are overkilling. For a simple deployment of Jenkins server, this is a overkill. We should not go this. This requires maximum number of steps. So option D is the best. Go to marketplace and launch Jenkins solution. So GCP marketplace, it has pre-built solutions which also include Jenkins also in the marketplace. So using the marketplace, you can deploy a ready-to-use Jenkins instance with minimal configuration. So this is fastest and simplest way to deploy Jenkins. So that is why our answer in this case is option D, where we will go to marketplace and launch a Jenkins solution. So please subscribe. There are 1,000+ videos. A lot of stuff is for cloud kernel members. A lot of stuff are there for cloud kernel members. For a very small premium, become a cloud kernel member. If you want to access to advanced certification contents, then gain access and become a cloud ninja. So just below the video, you can on the left hand side you can see a join button. You click that and you can choose cloud kernel or cloud ninja based on your financial capacity. Both are peanuts. The amount of information and the way we solve the questions, nobody does it in the market at this point. You have to actually purchase a face-to-face learning session, which is for each certification it costs around In India, at least it costs $300, 250 to $300. Abroad, it costs more, but we are getting all of these almost for peanuts. It's almost free. So this is the part two for on GCP Associate Cloud Engineer. The questions are all effective March 2025. So do prepare for this certification. It will add value in your CV and when you are looking for projects in different companies, uh, having Google knowledge will definitely add value.